Welcome to Musings on the Journey with your host, Deb Phelps. Nurturing and healing the mind, body, and spirit. So I'm back, still on the road. Something that came to mind was the idea of support. Now, support is something that certainly we all need. We want loving support in whatever endeavors we're doing, financial support, you name it. Very many areas that we want support in. And so as we look at this idea of support, we have to remember that we have our divine support, our higher support, however you wish to put that. And that's the support that we need to tap into first. Sometimes we can become frantic when we're constantly reaching outside of ourselves for that support. You know, we don't feel we have a partner's support or a family support, co-worker support, whatever you want to name it. We keep looking externally for the source of our support. And when we feel we have no support, well, we feel alone. We feel abandoned. We feel no one cares about us or will be there to assist us. You know, if we become very ill or we lose everything in a fire or something, for example. But you see, everything starts within. You know, I mentioned in the first part about the idea of, well, we need to do our self-study, we need to do our self-discipline, and we need to be devoted to our inner source, our higher power, divine guidance, whatever, divine universe, whatever you want to call it, within yourself. You have to be devoted to that. And when you're devoted to that, then you will have your support. And sometimes that support may come in ways you could never think of. Because you're expecting that source of support to come from someone in particular, or an organization in particular, or the government, what have you. You want something to be there for your support instead of relying on what is within. Now, that doesn't go to say that we can get support in other sources externally, of course. Yes, we do want to have friends and family, etc., surrounding us to help us. But what can happen is that we can become so attached to having a particular person, for example, be there. I want this person has to be there for me, we may say to ourselves. And when they're not, we become angry, become very angry at this person as to, why aren't you there? Why aren't you replying to my Facebook post? Or why aren't you replying to my emails or my phone calls? What have you? And sometimes maybe we don't even realize the other person has stuff going on. Maybe they're ill. Maybe, they're just having a really hard time right now. And yes, it can be devastating and feel very isolated when we don't have that. But the thing is it goes back to what we haven't nurtured, the divine support, universal support, God support, whatever you're calling your higher power. We start within first. Then that may lead us to other people, places, things that can help us. can't pile all our support onto one person. It's becoming codependent too. And you see, this goes back to focusing on your spiritual discipline and your spiritual work, because when you do that, you will feel grounded. You will be making choices that are skillful. You'll be making choices that are going to support you. Maybe you wouldn't get into a relationship that by, all the red flags are there. But maybe you get into it anyway because you're so lonely. You get yourself into other situations because you're not grounded. I can certainly say that. I got into relationships that way, past marriages. But see, once you come into this place of working on you, having a relationship within yourself, with yourself, for yourself, with higher power, then you'll be able to see these red flags more visibly. You'll be able to trust that instinct or that guidance that comes up for you. Like, wait a minute, I got to stay away from this person or this situation or this financial scam or whatever it is. We'll know not to do that. So what happens, we've been going around, maybe we are working on ourselves, we are doing this, but yet, we start to go through a hard time. And we feel no one is noticing us. No one sees us. And I've gone through places like that too. Wanting people to just reach out to me. I'm a very giving person, very generous in a lot of ways. Sometimes financial when I can. But for the most part, just generous of my time. I have a good listening ear. Always there to support others. Then I can go through those dark shadows myself where I need the support. I need to know that I'm okay, that I'm on the right track. Here I am on my journey. Am I getting off at the right exit? Feel like we're not seen and heard, well, it hurts. Of course it hurts. I've had that not too long ago. Felt like some of the things I was posting and talking about were being ignored. Then I have to remember, well, what am I posting for? Am I posting for others or am I posting for myself? Well, then it goes back to, the things I share is for myself. Even this audio that I'm recording, I'm doing it for me. I happen to be sharing it with you, but it's to reinforce what I need to remember, what I need to learn. And this is part of the journey. And yes, I'm traveling right now as I'm recording this, and it's interesting. Our fall retreat weekend, it's not really it's like an all-day retreat on Saturday and then another portion on Sunday in the fall, in October. It's called The Journey to Wholeness, and I remembered that when I was at a rest stop earlier. And this is the journey to our wholeness, the journey to remember who we are. So can I look within and see, why is this bothering me so much that I don't have that support? When I'm disconnected from my source, my inner source? I'm one that has always walked to a different drummer. Very different. And I know a lot of people may not understand me, whether it be family, old friends I've had, that sort of thing. They may not understand the journey that I walk. But it's my journey. And maybe the people who we think should be supporting us are not the people that we need to support us. Maybe it's having a spiritual family. That's the kind of support, people of like minds who understand your path, who understand where you are, who understand that you do that inner work. There's so many people in the world who do not do inner work. They keep falling into addictive behaviors. Now, addictive, right away you think, oh, drugs, alcohol. Well, yeah, that's one. Two is your Facebook, your TV, going to lots of workshops. Not that there's anything wrong with going to workshops, but if that's your high, if shopping can be a high. There's so many things that we don't even think of. Food, for instance. I'm working with a group that I started at my studio in Madison, which is peaceful weight loss and wellness. And it's not so much about the weight loss, it's about healing our mind. Healing our thoughts around the whole idea of food and our body image and what wellness really is, and practicing mindfulness and meditation and those sorts of things. And hey, if you're interested in something like that, I'd love to do an online group as well that does that. But that's stepping aside from that, because there's other things that we can become addicted to fill the hole, the void that we think is there. The place where our spirituality should be. That's our wholeness right there. And it's not a H-O-L-E hole. That's what we think it is. But it's a W-H-O-L-E. The wholeness of ourselves. So support. Now, I've talked about supporting, for oneself, but what about supporting others? How can you support others? Sometimes when we're feeling that, oh, I need the support, I need this, I need that, sometimes what the best thing to do is to give. Is to give to others. To volunteer. Even just to, maybe there's somebody that you listen to. I have people that I like, like Ram Dass, people like that I really feel I get some benefit. And maybe I'll donate $10 a month. Just as a thank you to the inspiration that you give to me. By listening to a podcast or listening or watching a video. I do that from time to time. I even have there's a vegan blogger, plant-based blogger, and I give him a donation every month. Automatic donation. Because I appreciate the time that he puts into creating recipes and sharing those recipes, because I know what it's like, because I have, I've done websites, I'm a long-time web designer, and I know what it takes to put into a website and what to, take pictures and to record videos and record audios. I know what time it takes to do that. And because I appreciate what he's sharing, I happily give him money each month. Well, same thing with PBS, for instance. I appreciate that kind of programming. And sometimes we think we don't have the means to do so, but the thing is once we let go of that idea that I don't have, and even if it's $5 a month, to somebody that you believe in what they're sharing and what they're doing. I even contribute to the Planetary Society. Bill Nye, the science guy, runs that. Just to support that idea. It doesn't have to necessarily be spiritual. Maybe it's something that just means a lot to you. Same thing with volunteering. Maybe you can volunteer somewhere, and there have been studies show that when we're depressed, that sort of thing, when we start giving, it makes a big difference. And you'll want to keep giving. My whole background originally was in nonprofit. I worked for the YWCA, I've worked for other agencies, and that's where my heart is. That's why I created my Miracles One, which is, of course, a Miracles organization. That's why I created it as a ministry where we give everything away. Just about. I mean, we have things that we still charge for. The classes that I personally teach, and any coaching that I do. And the same thing with my meditation coaching and Mind, Body, Spirit coaching. Yeah, some things we have to charge for. We don't have to give everything away. But I also know that there are people who need it who may not be able to afford it too. So I never really turn anyone away, because that's the spirit of giving. There were times that people gave to me when I was at my lowest in my life. And how can I inspire others? When I was at one low point, when I did work for the YWCA, right as I came on board, I was doing, for a couple of years, I was doing support groups for mothers and also single parents. And before that, I really just had a background in office work and some retail. I had a background in retail at that point. Some of my college experience was in behavioral sciences and working with children. That's why, my boss at the time thought I would be, perfect for that. I never facilitated a group before or anything like that until Jean believed in me and she said, I know you can do this. I was a single parent with two very young kids, 3 years old. Now they're 28 and going to be 30, my two older ones, and my youngest is 22. And she believed in me. She saw something in me, that spark that just needed to be fanned. And I don't know if she's still around. If she is, she's probably well into her 90s. And I've been thinking about her a lot. I probably have mentioned her a few times to people, maybe on a video or something too. But how important it is for us, that she did that for me. And I had another great gal who worked there too, and then was later executive director for another organization that I worked for, who also saw that too. Another deep, dark time when I went back to work with her. But how can we see that truth in other people? And I've done that for a couple of people already. Well, more than a couple of people. I'm thinking recently. Even at this retreat. The one girl that I talked to, she's been meditating. She learned how to meditate, and she's like, how do I become a teacher? Well, one of the things I said is that we always teach what we want to learn, what we want to reinforce within us. And I said, I know you can do this. And I told her briefly how I come to just teach in general. And that was the same story that I just told you now. And that's a way to support people, is giving back, paying it forward. How can I pay it forward? How can I help someone else who has gone through a tough time? A lot of the work that I do, I meet with, whether it's for spiritual coaching or meditation, mindfulness, mind, body, spirit, or whatever it is. I can do a lot. A lot of people have had trauma in their lives, PTSD, abuse. You see, that's what I've come from. And that's how I can help, and that's how I can give back. You know, even if it's as a coaching relationship with, you know, finances, of course, you know, and somebody's paying me to do that or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with money either. You know, that's probably a whole other topic I could talk about too. But the idea is, how can I help someone else? And when I can serve other people, it makes a huge difference. I know for me it does. I know I feel great when I work with someone. You know, and afterwards, there's been many times where, you know, I'll go to work with someone, you know, be it mind, body, spirit, as I said, and to see them come alive. You know, maybe they have an aha. Maybe they were finally able to meditate for 5 minutes. Whatever it may be, that makes me happy. That makes my heart happy. And that's really worth a lot to me than all the vacations in the world, all the retreats in the world, all the material goods in the world. Is, can I be of service? How can I be of service? Rob Doss actually wrote a book, something like that. How can I be of service? I have it. Of course, I'm driving, so I can't look it up or anything like that. But you know what I mean. Look it up if you aren't interested. Look that up. How can I be of service? And maybe ask. You know, if you are feeling low and you're feeling like you're not getting the support you need, you know, maybe look up what you could do to be of service to others. Now, let me say this. Don't always look to your friends to counsel you. Just get a professional counselor. There is nothing wrong with seeking out professional counseling. You know, seeking out medications if need be. Seeking out working with some sort of professional. A doctor, an aromatherapist, an acupuncturist, whatever. Those people can help you too. Friends can get tired and worn out of hearing the same stories over and over again, and they may not know how to help you. But when you seek that support from a professional person, they'll know. They'll know what things to suggest to you, to try, to teach you. You know, give you different ways of looking at things. You know, sometimes the friends are so burnt out from hearing the same things over and over and over again, with not seeing you make any movement at all. Now, if you're on the other end and you have a friend that's doing this, who doesn't seem to be making any movement, it's time to gently say and refer them to some professional support. And you can do that in a very loving way, without judgment, without pressure. Just say, you know, I really think that it would be beneficial for you if you found someone who could help you see this differently. I see you struggle and I care about you. And I only want the best for you. And I think that if you could talk with someone, whatever service that may be, you know, medical, psychological, etc., yoga therapist, whatever. I mean, that's what I'm in training right now as a yoga therapist. So I will be able to help people in, I mean, I do a lot anyway, but, you know, I can help people in the mind, body, spirit realm. You know, what are some things that we can do physically to help? What are some things we can do mindfully to help? What are some things that we can do to help your emotions and your body, your spirit, spiritual? What is about some spiritual things? Not that I'm trying to promote myself here. I'm just sharing. there's lots of things out there that can assist you or your dear one that you're close to, that you would like to see coming off that hump that they're on, to make some headway, to make some movement towards a better life, to a happier life, to a more peaceful life. But then I'm going to circle it back around to that. Make sure you're both doing your spiritual work. Suggest to them that they maybe try meditation. Maybe they try, spiritual thing. Why don't you join me in a meditation or join me at my study group? Sometimes we have to get through that dark night of the soul by ourselves too. I've been through many dark nights of the soul, and many times I had to get through it myself. As much as I would like to, have someone pull me out of the gutter when I'm feeling my worst, sometimes that's not always the solution, that someone rescues me. Because then I wouldn't come up with the way to do so. What the answer is, because if I'm tuned into my spiritual self, my inner guidance, that sort of thing, I don't need anybody to rescue me. I have my divine source that can show me the answers, that can help me to grow in faith, to grow in perseverance. Our journey is not easy in this life. We have all the hiccups. We lose our way at times. We get stressed. I get stressed. We all get stressed. But as we learn the tools, and I'm going to tell you again, mindfulness and meditation, those are tools that will help you. Relaxation techniques are tools that will help you. Yoga will help you. And yoga isn't about you have to be young and fit. I only became a teacher over a year ago. I've been doing yoga for a long time, but I'm 55 now. A year ago, I got my teacher training. It was something for me. It was something I wanted to do 20 years ago, but because of some trauma in my life that occurred, I couldn't do it. Do those things that you wanted to do, that you've put aside because, I'm too old for that. Support yourself by doing those things, and I'm so glad I did, because it's really opened my mind to a lot of other avenues. I wouldn't be in the yoga therapy training that I'm in right now, or the yoga psychology training I'm in right now, if it wasn't for that. And I'm enjoying that immensely, because I can see how having more pieces to help people, how it's going to make a big difference. I mean, it's already doing its work for me, and now I can take that and share that with other people. I'm sharing it with you right now if you're listening. So support. It goes back to those. I'm watching these lovely windmills here in Iowa as I'm driving. And they've got 3 paddles on them. That's your self-study, that's your self-discipline, that's your devotion to your path. And they all turn together, producing the energy you need to propel you forward. So it doesn't have to be the same as me, same as anyone else. It can be what works for you. In A Course in Miracles, it defines a miracle as a a shift in perception. Shifting from out of the fear mindset to one of love and peace. And you can have that too. You can have that shift. Shift happens. Instead of believing that shit happens, believe that shift happens. It's just like another chapter in a book you may be reading. If you're reading a fiction, it's like, I wonder what's going to happen next. Sometimes we can predict, and sometimes we can't predict. But when we're tuned in to our divine source, we will always have everything we need to get through it. We don't have to become anxious all the time. We don't have to become depressed or stressed. Those are all choices. One of the things that I teach is the reason that we're stressed and anxious is because we don't take time to really relax. And that's a support you can do for yourself. Now, I don't mean laying on the couch watching TV. That's not really relaxation, believe it or not. You may think it is, but it's not. You want to drop down into that parasympathetic nervous system. See, we're on all the time with the stress. We think everything, as my yoga teacher trainer said, is that we think there's a tiger around every corner. And so we're so amped up with adrenaline because, when we were in, caveman days or whatever, we had a reason to fear and to run and to be in that stressed mode because it was literally a fight for survival. Nowadays, we think everything is a fight for survival when it really isn't. And so our body is so pumped up with this cortisol and adrenaline and all this, and it retains within us. Heck, it can help with us keeping weight on, which, I just really learned that not too long ago, and I was like, wow. Because I went through some different stresses. I mean, even a health stress. We have a health setback. Which I've had a few in my life in the last several years. Could be anything, a financial setback, a relationship ending in some way, whether it's by choice or by, the other person passing on. Those are all stressors too. And if we can acknowledge, yes, I've had different stresses. A lot of times when I teach meditation is I hand out, and I have a handout that I give, and one of them is a stress test. A stress quiz. What are some stressors that you've had in your life? And some people were amazed. They didn't really think about it. Oh yeah, I moved. Oh, this relationship ended. Oh yeah, I just went... I just changed jobs. All those are stressors that we don't even realize that we have. So now how can I more effectively deal with this stress? And like I said, we want to drop down into a place of relaxation. Now meditation and mindfulness will help you with that. There's other relaxation techniques as well. You've got progressive relaxation, which if you're familiar with that, where you're tensing a body part and then you're releasing it, so you're releasing the tension. Certainly guided meditations can help with that. Another thing can help with that, it's something called yoga nidra, or what that is conscious relaxation, so it's a little bit different than the progressive relaxation. And it can be very helpful to you, it can really support you. Very much restorative types of yoga, which I love to teach. Because once again, it's that dropping down. It's not a very fast yoga class at all. In fact, it's the actual opposite. where some people like this. Sometimes I read on a Facebook group that I belong to, somebody called it Jammies Yoga. And that's kind of what it is, because you're laying on the floor in supported poses using pillows and bolsters and blocks and things. And you're just laying there and you're dropping down. And at first, you don't realize how stressed you are until you really are laying there for a while and you just feel your whole body just kind of sink down. It's also called rest and digest. That's the parasympathetic. Rest and digest. And we need that. We need that rest and digest. You just slow down. Put the smartphone away. Put the tablet away. Step away from the computer. It was nice for me to step away from the computer for 5 days. To be away from all the input, the news and everything that's going on. And this time in our lives, there's a lot going on in the news that can upset us and everything. But even more so, we need that slowing down. How can I slow down? So that's why sitting in front of the TV, all that's bringing is more input in. You have to kind of shut out all the input for a while and just be. You could do that by just taking a walk at a park or the woods. That's a way. Nature is a wonderful way to ground yourself, to be in that space of nurturing yourself. And this is what it's all about. It's about nurturing yourself. That's the support that you need. And then it's also looking at, okay, well, what kind of foods am I eating that aren't very supportive to me, that aren't helping me? Like I said, with this peaceful weight loss and wellness group, that I have 2 of them actually that are going at my studio, what are those things that we are doing to ourselves? So we did a session on mindless versus mindful eating. How can I support myself by slowing down what I'm eating? Even if I eat alone, can I make something for myself? Can I be very loving to myself by making a nice meal? Can I sit at the table? And here I am, I've been teaching this for several weeks now. And actually, I think it was right before I did the mindful eating session for the first group, I said to my husband, let's sit down at the table and eat. Like, turn off the TV. A lot of times, without even thinking. The TV's on and we're sitting there and we just eat and eat and eat. A lot of people do that, and people are talking about that in the group. People are eating and eating, and it's like we don't even realize that we ate or that we're full, or what we ate. Did we taste our food? Applying those senses, like I talked about in my last audio. Can I be with all my senses while I eat? See, nurturing ourselves, so it's nurturing the mind, it's nurturing the body, it's nurturing the spirit. That's supporting you. So in all those, you can see a big difference in your life. Is that where you want to be? Do you want to be nurturing yourself? If so, start taking a look at that. How can you bring more meditation and mindfulness in your life? How can you watch what you're eating and taking care of your body, getting exercise, getting, even very gentle yoga? Now listen, I know, if you see pictures of me, I'm overweight. I came out of an illness, of mold illness and fibromyalgia that was triggered by it. And a lot of that has dissipated. I don't have as much trouble with it. And I'm grateful that I did start moving again over a year ago. Well over a year ago. I practiced a lot of meditation. It was when we moved into our new house at the end of 2016. because the house that we were renting was the one that had the mold in it. And I was very ill. A lot of people don't know how ill I really was, how I felt most of the time in pain. And, I was using an inhaler, and it was just terrible. Absolute pain. And the, medications and all that. Thank goodness I'm off of those medications, but I'm not complete yet. And I think a lot of what I've been guided to do within the last month or so is to not only help myself, but to help others. Here we go. Here's that support again that I was speaking about earlier. What can I do for myself? What can I do for others? And can I do both at the same time? And I think that's how I was inspired with this group. It just kind of came to me. I mean, I trust my inner guidance. Popped into my mind. Usually when I'm taking a shower is when I get my most brilliant ideas, and of course know where to write them down at when you're showering. But that's an idea I had, and you know what? Nice, overwhelming response, and I ended up starting a second group. And I am interested in starting an online group. If you're not in the Madison area, I'd love to start a group where we can meet by video or phone. I have conferencing that I use for my other classes, and I need it. There's ways to do this where we can support ourselves through this process. And, I'm bringing in all the aspects, everything that I've talked about, I'm bringing in these aspects into this particular class, if you want to call it. It's an ongoing sort of thing. And this is one that I feel really grateful for. I'm grateful that I followed my guidance with this and that I've moved it forward, and I am doing it. Sometimes we don't know what we're to do until we're doing it. I've had so many things and ideas that I've tried over the years that didn't go as planned, but they're all training ground. There to help you to grow so you can support yourself and support others. We don't know. I don't believe in any failures. My ego would love to tell me that I failed at this, that, and the other thing, and a couple more. But instead, I'd rather look at it, okay, this was education. This was education, and this is what I was learning. And how can I share that learning with others? How can I reinforce it for myself? Different things have come to me, and I'm working hard on different aspects, mind, body, spirit, is because I want to meet people where they are. Not everyone is ready for example, the spiritual text, A Course in Miracles. If you are, you are ready. You feel drawn to it. If you're ready for meditation, you're drawn to it. If you're ready for mindfulness, you're drawn to it. If you're ready for yoga, you're drawn to it. If you're drawn to anything, working with the chakras or, some other spirituality, There's nothing wrong with dabbling and trying things out, and seeing if things work for you or not. But what's important for me is to meet people where they are, and I think that's why I've been guided to do these other studies, is so I can do that. One of the things at my studio is that I like to present it as a non-sectarian place. That it's not about Jesus, it's not about Buddha, it's not about any Hindu saints or gurus or any of those at all. I decorate it as nature-based. So there's orchids and peace lilies and trees. Pictures of trees. I have a large folding screen that is like a forest, and it kind of leads down. It's like a path in the forest, and it leads down to the center. So everyone feels welcome. Everyone says, "Oh, I love this. It feels so peaceful in here." Well, that goes back to that nature, taking a walk in nature and how that feels, right? So meeting people where they are, support them where they are, support yourself where you are, acknowledge that within. So I'm going to close this segment, and I wish you peace on your journey as I continue on mine here. Namaste. To learn more about the services I offer regarding mind, body, and spirit, please see my website, meditatewithdeb.com.